So, have you ever thought about what a bank vault looks like in the digital world? I mean, it's not some room with giant steel walls, right? Nope. It's an invisible fortress, a digital one, built around the most valuable thing we have today, our data. And today, we are diving deep into data security, a topic that, trust me, is way more personal and important than you might think. All right, here's our game plan. We're going to start with a really simple idea that I think you'll get right away. Then we'll get into what we're actually protecting, the cool tools we use to guard it, and of course, the clever bad guys trying to get in. And to wrap it all up, we'll see how this stuff works in the real world. And I'll leave you with the keys to your own digital kingdom. To really get a handle on data security, let's start with something we all know and feel, being safe in our own homes. So what does that actually mean when we talk about locking our digital front door? Seriously, think about it for a sec. That simple act of turning a key in a lock. It's not just about protecting your TV, right? It's about your space, your privacy, your peace of mind. Well, data security is exactly that, just for your digital life. It's all about who you let in and who you keep out. Okay, so let's take that idea of a locked door and bring it online. What are the valuables we're talking about here? And what in the world does a good, strong digital lock even look like? Let's define it. At its core, data security is just the practice of keeping your digital stuff safe from anyone who shouldn't see it. The goal is really threefold. First, keeping it confidential. Your secret stays secret. Second, making sure it's accurate, that the information can be trusted. And third, ensuring it's always available when you actually need it. And listen, the stakes here are incredibly high. A data breach isn't just some news headline. It can be absolutely catastrophic. We're talking about massive financial losses, the complete destruction of customer trust, and yeah, some pretty gnarly legal trouble. This is a high-stakes game for sure. So if our data is like digital treasure, how in the world do we actually protect it? Well, it's time to open up the digital toolshed and look at the locks, alarms, and security guards that stand between our information and the people who want to steal it. First up, the big one, encryption. This is the absolute cornerstone of data security. Think of it like this. It scrambles your data into a completely unreadable jumble, and only someone with the special secret key can unscramble it. It's basically a high-tech, unbreakable lock for your data. Next, we've got multi-factor authentication, or MFA as you'll usually hear it. This is like having a bouncer at your own private digital club. He doesn't just check your ID, that's your password. He also asks for a secret handshake, maybe a code that gets sent to your phone, just to prove you are who you say you are. Now, for something that's kind of a game changer, zero trust. This whole idea is built on a very healthy dose of paranoia. It basically says, I don't trust anyone by default, even if they're already inside the network. So the crucial point is every single attempt to access anything gets checked and verified. It sounds tough, but man, is it effective. And the toolbox just keeps going. You've got firewalls acting like strict gatekeepers for your network. You have endpoint security, which is like a personal bodyguard for every single one of your devices, your laptop, your phone. And then there's data loss prevention, which is kind of like a digital bloodhound, sniffing around to make sure sensitive info doesn't just walk out the door. Okay, so we've seen all the cool defenses, but what about the attackers? The digital world is a battlefield, and the enemy is smart, they're persistent, and they are always coming up with new tricks. Let's meet the burglars of the digital age. One of the scariest threats out there is ransomware. This is basically a digital kidnapping. It grabs your data, holds it hostage, and demands a huge ransom to get it back. Your best defense is a 1-2 punch. Have regular backups so you can just restore everything, and train people to spot those tricky phishing emails that let the kidnapper in the first place. But here's the thing. The call isn't always coming from outside the house. Insider threats, whether it's a disgruntled employee or just an honest mistake, can be just as bad. This is the wolf in sheep's clothing. You fight it with vigilance and control, watching for weird activity and only giving people access to the absolute minimum they need to do their jobs. And now we're in a whole new ballgame. Attackers are using AI to launch these super sophisticated, automated attacks that can learn and adapt on the fly. You know what the only way to fight that is? With our own AI-powered defenses. It has become a full-blown digital arms race, and the stakes just keep getting higher. So that's a lot of theory, I know, but what does it all look like when the rubber meets the road? Let's step inside the digital vault of a financial firm and see how all these tools and strategies come together in a super high-stakes, real-world situation.
Okay, so for a bank, data isn't just important, it's everything. It's the lifeblood of their entire business. They are the guardians of our financial lives, right? And the trust we put in them is built on the promise of rock-solid security. One single breach could spell disaster, not just for the bank, but for millions of people.
So how do they do it? It's not one thing, it's not a silver bullet. It's all about layers, like a medieval castle. They start with a deep moat, and that's the encryption on everything. Then they build a high wall. That's MFA for every employee. Then they post sentries on that wall. That's the 24/7 network monitoring. And all of this has to follow the strict laws of the land, which is their industry compliance. It's a fortress, built one digital brick at a time.
Wow, okay, we've gone from simple digital door locks all the way to AI-powered cyber warfare. Now, let's bring it all home. Let's boil this all down to the key things you need to remember to become the master of your own digital castle.
So here's what you really need to take away. Data security is all about controlling who gets into your digital world, period. Your best weapons in this fight are encryption, multi-factor authentication, and that zero-trust mindset. And because the bad guys are always getting smarter, a layered defense isn't just a good idea, it's pretty much your only option. If you only remember one thing, make it this. Encryption is your digital lock. It is the first, most basic line of defense. And MFA? That's the bouncer at the door, that essential second check that makes absolutely sure only the right people get inside. And finally, zero trust. That's the golden rule that ties it all together. Never, ever assume. Always verify. Every single time. And that, of course, brings us to the most important question of all. We've seen how the pros protect their massive digital fortresses, but what about yours? Now that you know the rules of the game, how secure are your own digital valuables? Because at the end of the day, the power to protect your data is and always will be in your hands.